Day. It's podcast day. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry Knitting Podcast. I'm Mars, and I'm known around the interwebs as heyBrownBerry. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad we can visit with each other. This is not my usual surrounding, but for a good reason. I'm on vacation with my family in North Carolina. We're visiting Bryson City, and specifically we're staying at a campground, Deep Creek Campgrounds. So we're in the northwest corner of the state of North Carolina here in the US. And it is a holiday weekend for us. Later this week, the US will celebrate Independence Day, otherwise known as the 4th of July. And actually, I am a Canadian citizen, and yesterday, July 1st, was Canada Day. So it's a holiday week. My family and I have been to this campground before, and we camped in our tents at a primitive campsite. So this would officially be considered glamour camping or glamping because we're in a beautiful cabin. The four of us have quite a comfortable space here, and it's pretty nice. I think it's going to be challenging to go back to tent camping after this. We're really enjoying ourselves. We are visiting here with some family friends of ours that we travel with quite often, and that helps because there's always someone to chat with or hike with or jump in the creek with. So this is my version of an awesome vacation. I will share with you, before we get into the knitting content, a bit of the surroundings of this campground. Here on my podcast, it gives me great pleasure to share my travel with you and give you a peek into some of what I do when I'm not knitting. So I hope you'll enjoy that.
Good morning, sister. I've been gone for quite some time. Now you can decide if I look any older, if I stand any taller, if I've seen the sun in weeks, if my voice is deeper, see, I'm a different person.
I'm going to sprinkle in maybe a couple more scenes of our natural surroundings throughout the podcast. I like being able to share quiet or quieter moments with you during the podcast, because if you're like me when watching podcasts, it's nice to have a moment that doesn't include much dialogue or things that you want to look at on the screen. So hopefully I can help you along by providing some sounds of nature that are just nice to knit with or make along with, whatever it is that you're doing while you're sharing this time with me. So I'll sprinkle that in throughout the episode. Before I go to kind of present day knitting stories, I would love to go back a bit. So Mars of the past had a very, very lovely visit with my friend Natalie. Natalie is the potter behind Remembrances Pottery, and I was very fortunate to spend some time with her for the first time in real life last weekend. She drove quite a distance to come and visit me while I was in Toronto, Ontario on a work trip. And I can't tell you how amazing it was to give her a hug and chat for hours. She brought us a picnic dinner, super prepared, and she brought her spinning wheel. So I felt completely spoiled. Natalie is also a knitter as well as an amazing, talented potter, and she had some projects with her, some of her works in progress. It's so much fun to share that time with a fellow maker. I felt like we could have talked about our projects and plans for days. Let's put that in our plans, Natalie. And she had mentioned bringing her spinning wheel, and I was a bit nervous that it was one of those things that, you know, you won't get through it as a newbie on the first try, but it would be fun to have a bit of a spinning adventure with her. she is such a good and patient teacher that actually I did get through it. She had the brilliant idea to have me ply on her antique spinning wheel, who's called Serafina. Gorgeous. And she brought a lot of different fibers that we could just ply together. Aren't these delicious? I'll insert some pictures of close-ups of these two yarns. They're a mix of different types of wool and some alpaca. And as you can see, we have plied together some coordinating colors. Just really a fun experience. And actually plying already spun singles was a lot less nerve-wracking than getting just the right twist and weight on a single. So all I was trying to do was combine already plied singles together in a way that was mostly even, with some help from Natalie. Thrilling.
I have audio on this if I put it on the podcast.
I can't.
I want you on my podcast. Is this one that you had gotten from a family member?
No, I found it at an antique shop, and she told me it worked, and she had sold multiple wheels before.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So, like, I can't get bobbins to fit it. I thought I found two, but I didn't. So for me, when I
Introducing Serafina.
when I spin,
Yeah.
once the bobbin's full, I have to unwind it and then start again. Put my finger in between so that they stay separate until I want them to go.
Yeah.
And like you do with the other one, just pull it forward, slide back, pull it forward, slide back, and then you just keep a steady. I do it so that my foot pedal and my hand motion is the same, so that it has the same amount of twist.
Makes sense. This would be very meditative, I can already tell.
It is totally. I love plying on it.
Yeah. And plying is not the most fun off the drop spindle, I have to say.
And see, now I'm like, I'll just finish this ball.
Yeah, you should. You should. Then I get to see an example.
No, you're gonna finish the ball, and then you'll still see the example.
Your
Look at
socks
the
are cute
colors
too, by the
coming
way.
out.
Orange and yellow is a great combo.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it here, and you're gonna try.
Very technical terminology. Look at where my hand is. Why is my hand all the way back here?
Sometimes I do that too. I'm just gonna take some random video.
Yes,
shots.
please. That's awesome.
And
I managed to pull
you can
one
chop it all up.
ball all the way out of its bowl. So that's fun. So what you're saying is I need a spinning wheel.
I don't know how much those little e-spinners are. I'd be
I don't know. I
curious.
think I want this. I think
You're the second person in my,
is that so?
what do you call it, like
Like in your knitting journey,
In my-
your spinning journey.
turn with Serafina
Yes.
to use it. Nobody else has
I love
dared.
that you named her too. What a pretty name. Seems like something I would do. Of course, my spinning wheel has a name. Men name their cars. All right, hold on. So if I want to stop.
I know all of you are thinking now, okay, Mars, so when are you getting your spinning wheel? You know, never say never. I started out spinning on a drop spindle this time last year. It was my first experience with spinning, and actually I have some hand spun on the go, a single ply that I've been working on this Schacht spindle. And I'm getting better with the drop spindle. I am able to achieve a finer weight single without breaking the yarn all the time. I'm getting used to the amount of twist that I like. In the process, I'm gaining patience. So at one point I said, oh no, I probably won't get a wheel. I think this will be enough for me in terms of spinning. Famous last words. I enjoyed the process of spinning on the wheel so much that I'm going to keep my eye out. And I'm grateful to Natalie for giving me that hands-on experience because I found it so meditative. Where are my spinning maker friends out there? Do you also find it just calming and soothing? I imagine that many of you do. The coordination between treadling and feeding the fiber, it takes some getting used to. But after sitting down at the wheel a few times and some good tips from Natalie, I was able to go for a stretch without taking a break. So of course, with a long road trip to get here and a long road trip home and wonderfully relaxing time in between, I needed to bring travel projects. So my travel knitting so far has been focused on my Druid Circle Sweater, which is a test knit I'm doing for my friend Shanel. Shanel designed the Druid Circle Sweater to be a colorwork yoked sweater, and the idea is to give knitters a template. So the pattern, I will tell you, spoiler alert, it's amazing. It is instructive without being too wordy, and it really opens up options for shaping, sizing, even for the treatment of the different parts of the sweater, which I have had to take advantage of already. I'm working with some delicious soulful stash for the main body of the sweater, which is Rommeldale from Prado Delana. Hold on, I think I said Rommeldale, but I need to double check that. I don't want to give you guys bad information. I almost did. It's Romney. It's 100% Romney wool from Prado Delana. This farm is run by my friend Amanda and her husband, and I bought 5 skeins of this yarn and at 250 yards each. It's a 2-ply DK weight. And I cherish this. It is Soulful Stash, 1, because it comes from Amanda's farm, and I've met and squeezed her in person. And 2, because like most, like most natural wools, it does not come in huge batches, and it doesn't really come in dye lots in many cases. This is from a sheep called Anna, which, as I understand it, was one of Amanda's first sheep. And I ordered what I thought I would need for a sweater quantity at the time. And then I got the idea to use this Romney for my Druid Circle Sweater. The great part is I am loving this knit. I feel it was a great choice for this particular sweater. The downside is I'm not going to have enough yarn for all of the sleeve knitting I have left to do. The body will be fine, I'm nearly done with that, and the collar, but I had to make another plan. So I'm going to show you a video here of what I have completed knitting on the sweater so far, and then we'll talk a little bit about my modifications. What you will have seen in that video that I was describing is a significant departure from what I thought I would do with this sweater, and I'm okay with that. I've learned over time, especially with garment knitting, to use the pattern as a guide, and Shanel encourages that, and then do what you need to make it wearable. I knew that if I didn't make some changes, I was at risk of knitting quite a bit of yardage on this gorgeous sweater and then feeling not quite certain about it, and that means it might stay in my closet, and I can't have that. One of the things that has helped me in that modification process is to do a bit of planning by way of drawing. My friend Nancy, who's actually here with me on the campgrounds, is an artist. A really good artist. She's a painter, she sews, she also knits and does some crochet. And I was talking to her the first night we were here about my worries, my sweater woes. She had the brilliant idea to return to something I'd done in the past, which was to draw out my plans for the garment, or at least to draw out some color options that would allow me to use my contrast yarns from the sweater to make up some yardage and then have enough yarn left to knit the sleeves. I have one of my contrast colors here, not the other one. Oh, yeah, I do. So the 3 colors I have in the sweater are these. I love them together. And I wanted to use the 2 contrast colors, or at least one of them, in a way that would spare me my remaining yarn for as much as I could use in the sleeves. Now, I will say quickly that I'm actually really happy at the thought of using up every single inch of this Romney wool in my sweater. You know, yarn chicken isn't fun if you're unprepared. It's not nice running out of yarn, but I intend to knit 2 sleeves at a time until there is no more of this yarn left, and use my contrasting color and the remaining color work panel in the sleeves to finish it out. Everyone cross your fingers for me right now. So Nancy said, draw out some options as to how you could modify the sweater. And I did. I spent some time on the deck the other day. This is a mandala on the other side here. This is my sketchbook. I spent some time drawing out the sweater, just sketching out what I had so far, putting in the body color and the contrast colors so that I could see what it would look like if I made the modification to add in more contrast color along with the already planned color work cuffs, which means I would have less yarn usage of my main body color here in this portion of the sleeve. This gave me such relief. It doesn't matter if you don't think of yourself as someone who can draw or someone who is artistic. Even working through what it would look like to have my main body color in small strips and then larger strips of my contrasting color, just that simple thing made me feel more comfortable about the modification. So once I put it on paper, so to speak, now it's all over but the knitting. So you saw the length is where I want it right now. I've completed the body ribbing on the back of the sweater. It was maybe a little hard to see in the video, but I've split the hem. So here's the body. No sleeves yet. And you can see the back hem hanging down because that ribbing is complete. And then the front hem I'm working on. So the back hem is 1 by 1 ribbing as planned, about 1 3/4 inches, and I've added a little accent using one of my colorwork contrast colors. I intend to do the same thing with the collar. Right now it's rolling because it's stockinette, but I intend to put the same 1 by 1 ribbing on the collar for a shorter length, maybe 1 inch, and add an accent edging with my contrast color. I'm really pleased with these plans. I think the amount of contrast that I use will just vary according to what I have left of my main body color. And I think that because I will have a small splash of the purple on top and on the bottom of the sweater, having a stripe of it on the sleeve will look planned because it is. So I'm happy about the progress on that. I feel confident I will start the sleeves while we're here on vacation. I have a few more days as well as 2 travel days on the end of this trip. So I'm almost monogamous knitting on that, and I'd be really pleased to finish it, especially now that I've tried it on. I get that itch when I try on a garment to get it done and have the whole thing blocked and put on. So yay, travel knitting. I'm going to continue working on it and get as far as I can. My sweater knit is part of the Maker's Merch Summer Makes Make-Along. Put the hashtag here. Over on the Maker's Merch Instagram feed, which is a brand that my friend Kelly and I run together. Hi, Kelly. Miss you. We are running a Summer Makes Make-Along, and this includes all crafts. It includes anything that you're doing with your two hands, or with your voice, or any material counts. This is just meant to be a way to connect us as a community during the summer months in the Northern Hemisphere, between May time frame into early September. It's summer weather, so you might be working on wool sweaters like me. You might be working on sock projects if you're fiber crafter. You may be sewing. A lot of people are gardening because it's good weather for being out in the fresh air. Whatever you're doing, we hope you'll join us in the Maker's Merch Summer Makes Make-Along. And if you do, use the hashtag, because we are featuring makers on our feed and in our Instagram stories, and that's a way for us to connect as well, to take a peek into each other's summer. And I hope that you'll join us in doing that. As I said, whips count, all making counts. Join us in doing that. It's a lot of fun so far, and I'm so grateful that people are willing to connect with us over the interwebs the way they do. You know, you can get caught up in your own projects, in your own circle, and your own daily grind, and something as simple as a hashtag is a way to reach out and connect. Hiking today. Feels really, really good to be moving, and the scenery is incredible. Can't complain about that. You can hear the creek. We're walking along part of the creek trail. The air is a bit damp, but very refreshing. I'm breathing deep. It feels really good. And I'm happy I can share this with you. It's a nice set of neighbors. Hi! It's dinner time. How fun. Guys, this guy is eating, he's eating out. This guy's dining out, huh? We found something that's better than what's on the inside, eh? Something tasty in there. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is a nice addition. That's all I have for you this time, friends. Hopefully short and sweet, but enjoyable. I certainly love having this time with you. I feel so grateful to be able to just sit down and spin a few yarns on what I'm up to. And then when I turn this camera off, I will more than likely go and find some of you in your podcast so I can catch up with you. Thanks for being here. Feel free to connect with me as heyBrownBerry. I'm on Instagram fairly often. And of course, come back here anytime to this YouTube channel. Be well, enjoy your making, and I hope you're having some good self-care time. See you soon. Bye.